Okay, so today we're going to talk about 5.6. We are going to be solving quadratics again by completing the square. We learned how to complete the square previously, but what do you know, what is different about these problems?
They have three, they're trinomials.
It is.
Oh, the x squared that has a
Thank you.
number.
There is a number in front of here. Very good. And so I think Rex maybe said it back there, or was it Elton? What do you think I'm going to do first on here? It was Aaron? Okay. So say it again. Take out the GCF. Okay. So in this case, we have a GCF of 3. Okay. So we are dividing. And what you want to do is, in this case, because remember when we end up setting the GCF equal to 0, if it's just a number, it goes away, right?
Yeah.
So what we can do, since there's an actual equal sign, we can divide every single term by 3. Okay? And just get rid of that number. So we end up with x squared plus 4x minus 6 equals 0. Is everybody okay with that? Because 0 divided by 3 is still 0. Okay, and what would I do next for completing the square?
Add 6 to the...
Good. We're going to add 6 to the other side. So we have x squared plus 4x plus what?
0.
Blank equals 6 plus blank. Because whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. Okay, good. And then what do I do to complete the square?
Divide by 2 and move in square.
Okay. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then 2 squared is 4. So 4 goes into each of my blanks. So when I write my square, sorry, I'll sit down. When I write my square, what does it yes?
Why did you move the 6?
Why did I move the 6? I moved the 6 to complete the square. So remember, we're always trying to find the correct C value that will make it so that I can make the left side of the equal sign a square, where when we factor it, it's the same 2 numbers. Okay, this was not factorable. There's no numbers that multiply to be negative 6 and add to be 4.
Okay.
Okay, and so we're using the complete the square method, and that's where you have just your x's on one side and your plain number on the other. Okay, because now if we take this right here and we factor it, what 2 numbers multiply to be 4 and add to be 4? 2, and it's always that half number. Okay, so my problem now is x plus 2 squared, because you get 2 and 2, which will end up making that square. Right? Okay, equals, and then you're going to simplify, and 6 plus 4 equals 10. And then how do we finish solving this? Good. We take the square root of both sides. Whenever I make the square root, my answer is going to be what?
Plus or minus.
Can I reduce root 10? No? And then lastly, we have to have x by itself, so what will I do? Should I make 2 separate equations on this one? No, why not? Because like 2 and root 10, you can't add them together. So it's kind of silly to have 2 equations, but you can if you want. It won't be wrong. So I'm going to subtract 2 to both sides, and I get x equals negative 2 plus or minus root 10. Okay, questions? All right, example 2. Can I divide everything by 5 on this one?
No.
No, I can't. Because 14 doesn't evenly divide into 5. Okay?
You have a different question.
You have a different question?
For example,
Yeah, 15 is
This should be 20?
yeah.
I would agree that it should be 20. Okay. Thank you. All right, so on this, what you want to do is go ahead and get all your x's on one side and your numbers on the other. So we're still going to go ahead and subtract 14. Okay, so I have 5x squared plus 20x plus blank equals negative 14. Plus blank. Okay. So far, so good? All right. So since we have this, is this now, could 5 and 20?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but we can't divide everything and get rid of that number. And so what we're going to do is we are actually going to take out the GCF. So we're going to write this as 5, and then we have x squared plus what? 4x plus blank, close your parenthesis, equals negative 14 plus, now I want you guys to think about something. This blank is actually being multiplied by what? 5. So what do you think we have to do to that blank? So we're going to go 5 times blank over here. Are we all okay with that? Do we all understand how this is 5 times this blank? So that means that in order to be fair, we have to have 5 times this blank on the other side. Yes? Okay. So what am I going to do next? No? Yeah, we want to find our C value, right? So we're going to go 4 divided by 2, which is 2. And 2 squared is 4. So 4 goes into each of these blanks. So what do I write on the left side right now?
Negative 14, wait, negative 14.
On the left side. Don't distribute anything. So we have 5, and what's my square going to be? Good. X plus 2 squared equals, and then here we'll multiply. What's 5 times 4? 20. And then we have a negative 14, which makes what? 6. Okay, and then in order to finish solving this, I'm going to rewrite it over here so I have some room. What will I do in order to get the square by itself? Good. Divide by 5 first. So now I have x plus 2 squared equals 6 over 5. And your next step will be take the square root of both sides, which means anytime I take the square root, what's it going to make? So we have x plus 2 equals plus or minus, and this is root 6 over root 5. Is it okay to have root 6 over root 5? No. Good. We can't have a root in the denominator. So how am I going to get rid of the root in the denominator? Good. So now I have x plus 2 equals plus or minus root what? 30 over 5. And then to finish the problem, very good. We're going to subtract 2. I don't need to write 2 equations because of the root. So I have x equals negative 2 plus or minus root 30 over 5. And that's your answer. Pretty fun, huh? Okay. Example 3. It tells you that the area of the rectangle is 40. When you're finding area, what are you doing? Good. You're multiplying your length times your width or your length times your height, whatever you say there. So how would we write this problem? Is everybody okay with that? Okay. Now, we've been dealing with like completing the square and all that kind of stuff. They want us to find the value of x. What do you think I should do next on this problem? Okay, distribute the x. So we get x squared plus 8x equals 40. What do you think you would do now? Yeah, probably make your blanks. If you want to kind of add them in here, you could. And then Justin told us we need to find our C value. So we're going to go 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 4 squared is 16. So 16 is the value that goes in each of our blanks. Getting this? Okay, so I end up with, what's my square? Good, x plus 4 squared is correct. And then 40 plus 16 is? Next. Good. Take the square root of both sides. Anytime I take the square root, my answer is going to be what? Very good. Can 56 break down? What two numbers multiply to be 56? 8 and 7. And then 8 can break down to? Okay, 4 and 2. And then? So I got a pair of 2's and a leftover 2 and a leftover 7. So how do I write that? Very good. 2 root 14 is correct. And then lastly, we subtract 4 to both sides to get x equals negative 4 plus or minus 2 root 14. Yes?
How do you get 16 when you're exploding these lines?
So you always take whatever the value is with just your x term, your b value. You divide it by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And then you, whatever that number is, you square it.
Oh,
And that is the value that you want for c to complete the square. And whatever value you put there, you have to also put there.